Good evening, everyone. My name is Tavan Munshi, and I would like to welcome all of you on behalf of USHA to our first webinar series called Fitness to Practice. Our first talk is on leadership by Professor Pankaj Jani, who is from the Department of Surgery, University of Nairobi. He has been the past chairperson of COSEXA, the vice chairperson of the Permanent Council and the G4S Alliance. Please note all questions, in case you have, you can write them in the chat box. They will be addressed at the end of the talk. I would now like to hand over to Professor Pankaj Jani to take over. Thank you and welcome all.
Hi guys, how are you? I hope you can hear me a bit. You may not be able to see me, but you can hear me. Can you hear me? Gagan, is that all right?
Yes, Professor Jani, we can hear you. You can start.
All right, thank you. Okay. So first and foremost, I wish to thank the newly elected USHA committee, especially the executive committee, which has put in efforts to sort out a few things in a very short time and arrange this talk. Without much ado, I'm just going to go straight to the topic. If you can see the first slide, and I'm sure you can see it, it says USHA leaders, right? What my aim at the present moment for this talk is that each one of you, as I will show you in the talk, is possible for each one of you to become a leader. So we're talking about USHA leaders from your room to the boardroom. So I don't know, some of you may be in cars at the present moment and with your phones, right? As we used to do when we were in the college, we didn't have mobile phones, but we had the other things which would send us a message. So from your room to the boardroom. What is a boardroom? Everybody aspires to be in the boardroom because the boardroom is made for leaders. As I said, all of you can be leaders. And my aim today is all of you end up in the boardroom one day or the other. As Gagan said, my name is Pankaj Jani. I'm with the Department of Surgery, University of Nairobi. And I have also done various things. I'm the vice chair of the Permanent Council of the G4 Alliance. The G4 is a global alliance. We're trying to improve surgery, obstetrics, trauma, and anesthesia. That's what the 4 stands for. I've been the past chairman of COSEXA, but COSEXA was one college, and we also were involved with the College of Health Sciences of the EXA. EXA stands for the East Central and Southern Africa. And Gagan has said we need to go to fitness to practice leadership. I'll go to the next slide, which gives you the plan of what I'm going to talk about. All right, I'm going to talk about, I'll introduce the topic, go to team building, go to how to create change, how to sustain change, and then give you a summary of that thing. So defining leadership. What is leadership? Leadership is a combination of meaningful vision. The word vision is important here. It should be meaningful vision, okay? And it should be with the ability to influence ourselves and others. So the most important thing is to influence yourself, ourselves, and others by non-coercive means. You don't hold a gun and change somebody, okay? In a certain environment, at a given time and set of circumstances. Time is important, environment is important, circumstances is important, and that's why I wanted to let you know. So from the point of view of introduction, from the definition, everyone, and that's what I mean, every one of you, I believe there are more than 50 of you at the present moment, has the potential to lead at some level. It is important that the level is important, but you are a leader. Skills can be acquired. Were any great men born here? The answer is no. Only babies were born. So every great man is born as a baby, but he can become great. He can become a leader. There is a study in duality, all right? Modest, willful, humble, fearless, good to great. This is what leads to that, okay? Leadership needs only one thing. Leaders need only one thing, followers. I'll show you this later. If you're a leader, you have followers. If you have no followers, you're just taking a walk. So you manage organizations, but you lead people. So management and leadership are different. I will go into that during my talk. And we follow those who lead, not for themselves, but for ourselves. So these are some of the important quotes that you need to know. If you're a leader, you got to have followers. We go to the next slide, which says, what are the main leadership traits? Leadership traits that are required is intelligence, integrity, self-confidence, social intelligence, emotional intelligence, determination, and emotional stability. Emotional intelligence is the recent new kid on the block. You need to read about emotional intelligence and you know what emotional intelligence is. During my time, there was no emotional intelligence being mentioned. Only intelligence was mentioned, and we used to do IQ tests and say who's intelligent and how clever he is. But how to interact with people socially is more important these days. All the other words, I'm sure you're quite familiar with them. Leadership truism. Trust and respect are the foundations of leadership. If trust and respect are not there, you can never be a leader. So the three qualities to build trust and respect: competence, connection, and character. You violate somebody's trust and you are through as a leader. So these are some of the basic points I'm going to mention in the introduction. You have to lead by example, operate, perform, be on time. If you're not particular about time, you're going to not be good as a leader. If you don't perform and present results, you're not going to be as a leader. Speak up. Leaders are supposed to speak up. Be a role model for others, upstanding citizen, own up to the mistakes. The last one is most important in my view at the present moment. You got to perform, you're going to have mistakes, you got to own up to them. Developing a vision. All ideas are good, all right? All ideas are good ideas. All ideas are good ideas until they're proven otherwise, okay? So listen, you have to listen and you have to get the best ideas. New ideas can be right and rejected. Take the time to discuss. You have to discuss, come at a consensus, and then you move forward, okay? The American College has fantastic examples of Operation Giving Back, and the American College of Surgeons Political Action Commission. So these are some of the examples that you can take forward with looking at ideas, discussions, and what can be right and wrong. Now, coming from that, the ideas that you have to create is what is the vision for Usha? We're in the process of changing the constitution. And I think the executive at the present moment has to come up and create a vision for Usha. A vision comes from a mission. What is the mission of Usha? As far as some of us in the initial stages were concerned, is that Usha should have all potential students to become members. So whatever the constitution says, this fellow can become a member, he becomes a member. Unite all these members, identify and assist members in need, raise funds, have fun, improve university life. People live through the university life at times without knowing that they're going through the university life, which is at times one of the most important parts of your life. And then regular meetings and functions. So from this mission, what is the mission? I have just listed some of the points which I could remember off the cuff. This is not a complete list, but the executives have to complete this list, write out what is the mission of Usha, and then say what is going to be the vision of Usha. So from this mission, you can produce a vision statement. So that was the introduction. Leadership is contextual, all right? If you're a surgeon, you're operating in theater and the patient is bleeding, I'll give you my practical example. The leadership format changes totally to saving a life, okay? If you are in a picnic sort of an environment and somebody is joking around and you're a leader and you want to control him, that context is different. So leadership is contextual, and you need to know that. This is a basic slide. What are the positive associations with leadership? A lot of this is going to come responsibility, task completion. Task completion leads to a good leader. If tasks are left half completed, you're not a good leader. Okay. Vigor and persistence in pursuit of goals. Again, goals. What are the goals in your vision and mission statement? You got to complete them. Risk taking, drive to exercise initiative in social situations, self-confidence, willingness to accept consequences of decision and action. One of the most important things, you must be willing to accept the consequences of the decision and the action you took. You must be able to stand by it. Readiness to absorb interpersonal stress, okay? Willingness to tolerate frustrations and delay, ability to influence other people's behavior. One of the most important things is you should be able to influence other people's behavior along the right lines. Capacity to structure social interaction to the purpose at hand is most important. Skills of leadership. You can find that if there is a surgeon who has no technical skills, he's going to be a very poor leader in theater. If you are dealing with human beings in an organization and you don't have emotional intelligence, you won't get along with people. And if you are not visual or goal orientated and your organization wants to really move, all right, the thing that you are witnessing in the US at the present moment, okay, there's no vision, no goal against COVID. And we're seeing so many people dying at the present moment because of poor vision, poor goals. So 3 skills of leadership. You must be good at what you do. You must have emotional intelligence, and you must be able to conceptualize. You must have vision and goals. Okay. Getting there is important according to your vision and mission. Focus, take chances, reduce, get out in the open. Don't be fearful. Being there, think big, delegate, grow others. That's the most important fee. I'm going to come to that and give credit. As I'm giving credit to the present executive committee, we talked about this, about monthly lectures with previous committees and the previous committees, and we're seeing this is happening. I'm hoping that every month or every 2 weeks or every 4 days, you identify somebody who can give us, teach us, all of us, something good. Okay? Systems are important. We need to put systems in place, okay, so that we succeed. These are some of the values of leadership. Leadership versus management. What is leadership and what is management? Okay. Now, I'm not going to go over this slide the way it's written down, but you got to understand, when you're in the boardroom, you make decisions, you draw out plans, you say, this is what we are going to do for the year. Okay. Then you have other leaders, equally important. They're not less important, but they're leaders. But they're leaders in their capacity, who are in, as their co-opted members, committee members, whoever, say, okay, we're going to carry out this plan in this way, all right? The leaders facilitate so that the other leaders who are managing the show can manage the show. From there, get the work of the organization done through a team is most important. And I think in leadership, if you want to be a successful leader, you need to have a team. Without a team, you can't move very far. Team is one of the most essential things for leadership. If you're going to build a team, this is the ad that was put by Shackleton in 1914 when he was going for the Antarctica expedition. He said, men required, these are for a hazardous journey. Your wages are going to be small. The temperature is going to be bitterly cold. There will be long months of complete darkness. There'll be constant danger. Safe return is doubtful. That means you are giving your life to this mission. Honor and recognition is the only thing that you will get in case of success. Any volunteers? This is the sort of people you want to build your team with. That's team building. What's a team? It's a group of people, coordinated, united, to achieve a common goal. Okay? So once your vision and mission statement is sorted out, once you've prepared a strat plan or a strategic plan, this is the plan of Usha for the year, this is what we're going to do, then the team works to achieve that common goal. the reality of leadership with a team is very simple. I not only use all the brains that I have, but all that I can borrow. That's why Woodrow Wilson. These are important quotes, that two brains are better than one. Okay. So none of us is as smart as all of us. So you need more brains, you need teams, you need to discuss and move forwards. Team effectiveness, how to build an effective goal-oriented team. I told you about the Antarctica expedition. An efficient goal-oriented team is made of good team members. What are the characteristics of good team members? The whole of USHA's membership is a team, okay? But each member has different characteristics. Some people may be good at organizing for transport for USHA members. Some people would be good at organizing, for example, for food logistics at an USHA meeting. These are the characteristics that you bring forwards. You need to bring out your passion, and you will be a leader in that area. So team building starts with why. Why? Optimal care and experience in an environment of innovation and professional satisfaction. How? What? I'm going to give these slides to all of you. You can go through all these slides, but the last quote is most important, and I really like that. I want to put a ding in the universe. Ding in American means make a difference. Steve Jobs, one of the guys who changed my life. Okay, you'll see one or two quotes by Steve Jobs here. Today, the iPhone, basically, you know everything that I'm talking about. My life is, I used to go around when I used to travel with a video camera, an ordinary camera, a phone, and 2 or 3 other things. And now I just have my iPhone and I'm connected. So he really changed my life, and I look up to him. But what you want to do is, I want to put a ding in the universe. You want to improve humanity. You want to make a difference. That's what you want to do. When you build your team members, treat people not only as they are, but what they could be, right? When I see a name on this list, that there is a Jani who is attending this call, I just went through the list. I am aspiring to see that Jani is one day sitting in my position and taking this to the 10th level. That's what it's all about. Not where that Jani boy is at the present moment, but where he could be. So you treat people like that. Give credit, tell stories, set them up for a win. You need to identify your players, team members, and set all of them for a win. Let them succeed, and their success comes through you. The biggest problem human beings have is not doing this. Ask them to reach as high as they can, not where they are. Then ask them to reach 1 inch higher and see how you are, and everyone can do it. Okay, that's how building the team is. Team characteristics and effectiveness. I mean, characteristics of an effective team member, all those you're very well aware about, but persistence, which is labeled as tenacious here, right? Sticky. They must all be forthcoming, all right? They must want to get the goal achieved, but that you have to have ethics, professionalism, honesty. All those things are important. And then there is chemistry. Chemistry is most important. Chemistry is that, well, sometimes people find that you look at somebody and you don't like him. Means there is no chemistry there. So when you build your team, there has to be chemistry. Develop the structure to get the work done, not a one-man show. It should be teamwork. It could be an administrative infrastructure, fiscal and business expertise. You need to learn to delegate, but hold accountable. This is the most important thing that we find in USHA over our past experiences. The people who are carrying out a task get overwhelmed and they need help. And you find that everybody who can give help is already involved in it. No. The executive, the committee have the help from people. And whenever they are working, doing something, then they come in to put out the fires or wherever they need help. Delegate, but hold accountable. Expert regular input and feedback is important. Feedback is one of the most important things in training. If you don't give feedback, your trainee is not going to improve. Know the details and keep a hand on the wheel. Those are the most important things in developing a structure and moving forward. So my observations on leading a team, it's more important to listen than to talk. I'm going to talk to you for about 30, 40, 45 minutes. Okay, I would have wished I was listening and you guys were telling me what, and I'd like to have a feedback from all of you. One, what do you think about this talk? Two, what is the passion that you have with which we can move Usha to the next level? Think for yourself, have a direction, know your passion. Half the time I meet people and they don't know what they like. They're just living a life. You must learn to take on new challenges. We must build consensus. We must facilitate the success of others. If we do that, that's when we succeed. Building team effectiveness. So now we have an efficient and balanced team. We should provide a clear direction, create a vision. I'm coming to vision and mission again. What is your vision? From there, you create a strategic plan. How are we going to achieve the mission and a strategic plan? Efficient practices, defining clear roles. Okay, what are the roles of the individual contributors? This is what is important. Building team effectiveness. How do you transform your team into an effective team, able to effect necessary changes? Efficiency is the foundation of survival. We find lots of people doing their work in an inefficient way. Okay, efficiency is the foundation of survival. Effectiveness is the foundation of success. If you want to succeed, you have to be efficient to survive, effective to succeed. What characteristics do your team members need to have to become effective is what you need to look at. Okay, team effectiveness, hire great people. I've gone into this. You need to remember the Antarctic expedition, all right? If you want to hire great people, then they have them stay working for you. This is from business mind I'm talking about, all right? You have to let them make a lot of decisions. Now, once the executive and the office bearers have made decisions, then the people who are leaders under them will be carrying out the tasks. This is what applies to them. Okay? Let them make decisions at their level and move on with the task to achieve. The best ideas have to win. Run by ideas, not hierarchy. Steve Jobs again. Okay, building a superior team, all right? You have to realize how to get them to be better than what they think they can be. This is the function of leaders. Leaders have to see, what is this gentleman capable of? Let's get him to that level. That is what teams are about. So what got you there, what got you here won't get you there, okay? Skate to where the puck will be, not where it is. Wayne Gretzky, how many of you know Wayne Gretzky? Wayne Gretzky was one of the greatest ice hockey players. And he was, revered in the North and the Americas, okay? He always thought, when playing ice hockey, where is the puck going to be, not where it is now. If you can work that out, then you are doing leadership. Continuing with what made you successful can prevent you from succeeding in future. Plunge into new projects. Take chances. Okay? Activities and opportunities outside your expertise. Okay? Don't be fearful about this. Discuss. Act like a leader. Become a leader in the midst of others and in yours. Okay? These are famous quotes that we had given to us. For every problem, there is a solution. All right? That is simple and neat and wrong. So if you have a problem and you think there's a very simple and neat solution for it, that most probably is wrong. Be comfortable with possible failure. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Okay, that's again Wayne saying that. If you don't take a shot, you miss 100% of them. So take a shot. Don't worry about things. Learn, listen more, learn, list options, then lead. One of the best ways to persuade others is with your ears. Listen, listen, listen. So my greatest strength as a consultant is to be an ignorant person and ask a few person, listen first, speak last. That's from team building. And now we'll come to some leadership styles. I told you it's contextual. Sometimes it can be warm and fuzzy. If you have to be effective, tell it like it is, okay? You don't have to be everyone's friend, but it doesn't pay to be everyone's enemy. So you've got to realize that. You've got to keep your enemies close by you if you want to succeed. Producing goes a long way towards forgiveness. So Steve Jobs and this guy of Microsoft were good friends, and they started together. I hope some of you have read about these stories and know about it. And they broke away, and this other guy was very unhappy. But producing goes a long way towards forgiveness. Steve Jobs produced the iPhone and Apple and all that. And at the present moment, Bill Gates has forgiven him, okay? So this is what, if you produce results and top-notch results, it goes a long way in forgiveness. So this is general things. This is general things that you need to know. And the present day, raising a leader means that you have to know certain things. And these things are very important of late. The 6 most important words: I admit I made a mistake. The 5 most important words: you did a good job. I usually say, you did a good job, man. The 4 most important words: what is your opinion? The 3 most important words: if you please. The 2 most important words: thank you. The 1 most important word: we. And the least important word: I did this. If you change that, then you're going to succeed. So now we are going to come into change. How do you effect change in an organization? Because you're going to find that everybody has ideas, and how do you effect change? So comments on change. The Stone Age didn't end because they ran out of stones. If you continue to think what you have always thought, you will continue to get what you've always got. Okay? Think outside the box or live in it. That's the important thing with change. Think outside the box, create change. Okay? Resistance to change is to be expected. Everyone wants growth. No one wants change. Change is disruptive, makes people uncomfortable. Okay? Disadvantage is some, and there's some are at an advantage. The pain of status quo has to exceed the pain of change. Okay? Then change will come. In summary, getting to a goal, lead, follow, or get out of the way. Create change. You want to get a goal. You lead, follow, or get out of the way. An important meeting that I attended, where elections were held, and somebody got up and said after the elections, I don't want to be on the committee, but I want to help. How can I help? And the chairman got up and said, well, if you just don't get in our way, that will be a great help. So if you are going to not lead, not follow, then get out of the way. Leading an organization, project the goal, lead, and then get out of the way again. Once you've leaded the organization, okay, project the goal, lead, you've led for your time, then get out of the way. This is how leadership goes. When introducing change, we'll have you to deal with apathy, cynicism, naysayers, useful tricks against these, okay? You propose a bright idea and somebody says, no, I think this is really not workable. Useful tricks are celebrate some success, the past successes, show examples of others who have done it and done it well. Articulate a vision, be realistic, plan for change. If you jump without planning, you're going to not succeed. Listen and be respectful. So these are some of the important things for change. If you have created change, how do you sustain change? Sustaining of change is very important. Leaders cultivate an organization's creative imagination. Creative and innovation are at the heart of leadership. Need to inspire daring and innovative thinking, within the organization. So there has to be daringness here. There has to be innovative thinking. At the present moment, in the times of coronavirus, how many of you have gone out and designed masks or face shields or things like that? Be innovative and work on these things, and then you will find there is change. Now, effecting change brings you to a different area. If you want to effect change, you have to think politically. Who is a politician? Is a diplomat. Who is a diplomat? You ask a question to a diplomat, he thinks twice and gives you no answer. That's a diplomat. Okay? Think politically if you want to effect and sustain change. Find partners. Keep the opposition close to you. Know their strengths, know their weaknesses. Accept responsibility for your piece of the mess, acknowledge their loss, model the behavior, accept casualties. There will be casualties on the way. When you're working on these things, there are going to be casualties. Different ways casualties. You heard somebody's morale, you got to look at it, okay? Leaders listen and attend to others. Need to develop a collective habit of deep listening, listening to fix, advise, and solve to maintain and sustain change, okay? Ways to do it: create a holding environment, control the temperature, the pace of the work, show them the future. At times, the pace is too fast and you find people falling out, okay? So create a holding environment, control the temperature, pace the work, show them the future, what is available, okay? Leaders tell stories and inspired shared vision. I could tell you stories of what I've been through, and we would need another 5 or 7 lectures for this. But telling stories about their things will sustain the change, okay? If I'm giving this leadership talk and I want you to stay here for it, I could talk about my days when I was a Boy Scout or when I was a head of Kenyatta National Hospital, Ward 5B, and things like that. They must tell stories. So they are in the sort of power of effective and sustaining change. So these are some of the things, okay, that friends of mine have gone through. Headmaster's Prize as Junior Primary School, troop leader at 21st Boy Scouts at EC Secondary School, many leadership positions at University of Nairobi during their tenure. These are various people who've held these things. And this is what you tell people and say, this is what we can get to. Effective and sustaining change as a leader, again, involves stimulating change in an organization. 2 key tasks I mentioned: raise the heat, lower the temperature. All right? What does that mean? Okay. Raise the heat. Draw attention to tough questions. Give people more responsibility than they're comfortable with. And then you will find that they will fall into line. Bring conflicts to the surface. Protect the gadflies and the oddballs. Okay. So these are some of the things in which you sustain change. Lower the temperature. Address technical aspects of the problem. Establish a structure for the problem. Temporarily reclaim responsibility for the tough issues. So that at a time when the leader steps into the shoes of the people executing the tasks and says, well, let me reclaim responsibility, help you here, okay? Employ work avoidance mechanisms, slow down process of challenge norms and expectations. Some of these slides come from the business circle. So I've taken everything because this is in order to succeed. Give the work back. Take the work off your shoulders. Place the work where it belongs. Make your intention short and simple. Observe, listen to the questions asked, interpret and act. So these are some of the things for sustaining change. The most effective way to forge a winning team is to call on the players need to connect with something larger than themselves. So this is what you do. Divert attention to the positive ways, okay? And they get the greatest joys out of things. What are the greatest joys? Watching others grow, seeing cultural change, okay? Being part of the leadership team, create that importance of being part of the leadership, voicing the different opinion. So these are some of the things which will get you to sustain the change that you have effected. Greatest woes are when they don't do what you want them to do, lack of integrity or lack of professionalism. So these are the problems. Why have I listed this? So when you build a team, you want to avoid people who do not behave professionally, who do not have integrity, and who will not perform. These are some of the most important things which let you down. Toughest jobs, What are the toughest things that you find? Negotiating money from above and below. That is fundraising in our setup, okay? Telling somebody that they didn't hit the mark, they didn't get to where they were supposed to do. Realizing some don't think women should lead. Now, some of these things are in the abstract, but I think this is, you got to understand. From our point of view, the toughest jobs at the present moment are to get fundraising for the association, okay? Telling people that they didn't perform and things like that. And leaders find and listen to their inner voice. Now, this is very important for the leaders themselves. They need to, how many of you have read the book called Blink by Malcolm Gladwell? Read that, and that will tell you about this. Need moments to provide personal encounters with self. So true leaders will go into reclusion, think about things, and then come out. It's not always with the adrenaline that you want to be thinking. Heartbreaking and sustaining conversations with yourself can expose a lot. Effective and sustaining change. So at times of sustaining change, you got to think about it, model the behavior you're asking of others. So maybe the leaders themselves, when they're trying to sustain change, are not in the proper manner of behavior. So in a summary, what I'm going to tell you, good leadership makes a great difference in dynamic, uncertain, and complex environments. As seen, Wharton is one of the biggest business schools, okay? So I told you some of these slides are from the business research further. So great, it makes a great difference if you have good leadership. A leader's checklist comprises of mission critical items. You have a vision from which you create a mission, and there are critical items on the mission from which comes a strategic plan, and from the strategic plan you have a committee that executes this. It's simple and possible, but not simpler as it customized around your unique challenges. So all these things have their challenges. What are your unique challenges? And then you want to customize it. The checklist for most general managers includes developing leadership in others and thinking and acting strategically. So strategic thinking is important. Think and act strategically by focusing on long-term and all stakeholders and becoming a general manager. A new strategy and leadership makes the difference on Mount Everest. So this is in summary what I wanted to say. If you're going to work in the boardroom, you're the executive, you're the office bearers, you're going to make the decisions. If you want to succeed, your decisions will only come to fruition, will only make a great difference if you have a team. If the team creates change and the change is sustained, and then you'll succeed. So reasons for failure: insufficient vision. So you start off with the wrong vision, right? For example, we say that, okay, Usha is going to embark on building a hospital for the University of Nairobi. Now that vision is not going to come to fruition, because at the present moment, I don't think we have the capacity, the land, the money to build a hospital for the University of Nairobi, which University of Nairobi needs, because we share Kenyatta National Hospital, which is a government hospital for student training. So these are some of the things. Failure of a new leader, insufficient resources. We are blessed that Usha has some funding, so that should not be a reason for failure, but this can be a problem. Try too hard, too fast. Lower the temperature, lower the heat. Did not gain consensus. Everybody has to agree. Took the easy path. I told you, if the solution is simple, you're not going to get anywhere. Failed to make the needed personnel changes. Emotional intelligence comes out, and you got the wrong person for the wrong job. Those are the reasons for failure. Develop leadership in others through self-directed study of leadership, mentoring and coaching leadership, which I'm trying to do at the present moment, and stretch experiences requiring new leadership skills. I have one or two more slides. The last slide is, if you want to do these things, then you've got to know that priorities are important. Some important things are urgent, so you have to do it now. And some important things are not urgent. You decide and schedule a time to do it. So this is something for the leaders. Not important things can be done later, especially if they are not urgent. And not important, not urgent things can be deleted. Finally, a few things important about leadership. It is not the position which makes a leader. It is the leader that makes the position. You are a leader only if you have followers. He who thinks he leads but has no followers is only taking a walk. You're not leading. What do you have to do to transform yourself from a positional leader to a respected, admired leader? That's my last slide. And I am challenging all of you with my last sentence. What do you have to transform yourself from a positional leader to a respected, admired leader? Thank you very much. I'm going to stop there.
Thank you very, very much, Professor Jani. We have a few questions that a few of them have written to me personally. So I'd like to hand over to Gagan for her to address those questions, please.
Okay, thank you, Stavan. A few of the questions we've received for you, Professor Jani, are: how can you respond to criticism?
Am I on the mic at the present moment? Am I muted, or I can answer?
You can answer, Prof.
So you can hear me, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're talking about criticism here, all right, it was always have to be constructive criticism, okay? Non-constructive criticism should not emanate from the university audience. If I was talking to primary school kids, right, if I was talking to secondary school kids at the most, then I would not be talking like this. But I think at the university level, all of us, the fact that we are at the university, or most of us who are, all right, have to be at that level where you create constructive criticism, right? Non-constructive criticism should not arise. So there are two types of criticisms: constructive criticism. Constructive criticism is very important. You need to pause, think, take your time, put a value to it, and say, this person has mentioned this thing which is very important. And I think what we need to do is take it to our next meeting, discuss about what he has criticized us for, and find a solution for that. So constructive criticism should be addressed, okay? And non-constructive criticism should also be addressed, but in a polite, humble manner, that we feel that this is not taking us in the direction we want to go in, and we will not pursue much further with that.
Okay, thank you, Professor Jani. The second question we have is: how can you measure your performance at work?
You never measure your performance at work. If you measure your performance at work, you're a loser. You want other people to measure your performance, okay? And note this, that there are always going to be people, okay, who are going to not appraise you in the right manner, okay? You do not want to judge your performance yourself. Let others judge your performance. But you need to know that amongst the others, there are always going to be the negative guys. You don't want to sort of get involved with them. You want to look at what the people who really mean business, okay, judge your performance. That is how performance is to be judged. Okay, and a simple track record of what lets you do. Look at the performance of our committee this time. We have an executive committee, and I know the two people, Gagan and Stavan Munshi, have been working so hard that we are on a call today with how many? I can't see the number. It's 50 plus people.
Yes.
Okay, that's a huge achievement. So that's a performance. But some of the naysayers will tomorrow morning write emails and say, no, this was just something useless. I mean, I'm paid something like $2,000 to give such a talk in the international audiences. I don't take that money. I just say, let it go to charity. But this is how it is. So performance is judged by people who are positive, and they will judge your performance. Okay? Yes.
Okay, thank you. The next question we have is: how can you deal with pressure and stress of being a leader and balance it with your academics at the same time?
Okay, now this is one thing that I had wanted to say in the beginning, and I have written it down. I just skipped that. It was right at the beginning that, look, friends, we are all colleagues, okay? One of the most important things for you at the present moment is to succeed in your university career, all right? You may have very fantastic leadership traits, or you may gain them from this lecture. But if you don't succeed with your university degree, then that success is not as great as if you'd succeeded with the leadership and the university. So you must have your focus. Your focus should be towards your university education at the present moment, all right? And then you give your time to Usha and things like that. Now, one of the most important things in this is time management, okay? I had arranged a meeting yesterday at 7 o'clock, and for reasons which I can't be even sorry about, I couldn't get on the call at 7:30, and I felt so bad. So time management is very important. If you manage your time, if you work hard and follow the basic tenets of life, then you can do everything, okay? Discipline, time management are the important things, and you can achieve all. Thank you.
Okay, I think that's very good advice for all of us, since most of us are students. The last question we have is, how would you describe your own leadership style?
Oh, I grew up in a very different environment. I told you leadership is conceptual, okay? I have operated at Kenyatta National Hospital actively. I mean, actively means starting with 8 cases a day for 2 or 3 days a week, going to 4 cases a day for over 15 years, all right? With gross deficiencies, all right? You know how the national hospital, all government hospitals work. So here you're in a crisis, and our leadership style was a dictatorial leadership style, okay? If a patient is collapsing in theater, all right, and you want somebody to control the bleeding, let's say he was bleeding, okay? So you ask your assistant to put pressure, and that assistant is joking around or this or that. That leadership style is totally different. It's dictatorial. My friend, you need to apply pressure here and you need to hold tight here, okay? Everything changes, okay? As compared to when I'm talking now, we are all colleagues, we are all friends, we are here to help each other so that each other improve. That's why I'm asking you to give me a feedback on how I can improve this the next time I talk. But that is how it is. So leadership is contextual. My leadership style I learned from my leaders, where if you were late for a meeting, you didn't go for the meeting. If Professor Vasuna was sitting in theater scrubbed, you wouldn't enter the theater, all right? If Ben Chiwenga was your surgeon, you were assisting him, he would actually hit the needle holder on your knuckles if you were not retracting well, all right? So those were the leadership styles which were there. There was no emotional intelligence there. There was just IQ. This guy is bright, he's a leader. He's going to be a leader, okay? It has changed over the years. You need to have emotional intelligence. You need to respect. You need to give credit, okay? If a registrar is not retracting in theater very well of late, okay, then I have to say, I think, you know, we're getting exhausted here. So then he would realize, no, I'm not exhausted. I'm going to pull. So that style has all changed, but it is still in the context, okay? My leadership style was very different. I grew up with an environment where it was ruthless. It was ruthless for us, okay? I mean, we were 4 registrars in Kenyatta National Hospital in 8 wards, and that's how it was. And you had to be everywhere at every time and things like that. Not that you guys have an easy environment. No, I'm not saying that. Okay, don't get me wrong that we had it tough and you have it easy. No, but we came through a very different leadership style, and we have had to adjust. There was no emotional intelligence. Now you have to have emotional intelligence and things like that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We'd like to request you to give your closing remarks, Professor Jani, before we can hand the platform back to Stavan.
Okay, now, first and foremost, thanks to all of you, okay? All of you, because it makes me feel good that you guys are interested in learning, okay? And sharing with me what I have. So thanks to all of you. Special thanks to Gagan and Stavan. Okay, you guys are fantastic. I think you guys will take us to greater heights. And believe you me, what is needed at the present moment, okay? I can't do my closing without coronavirus, okay, or COVID-19 disease, okay? We all need each other, even if it's through the computer, okay? So the environment is changing. We will have to get more used to this. We will have to bond, okay, through the net or things like that. Otherwise, sooner or later, we are going into the problems. A friend of mine wrote to me, not a friend, but my son wrote to me that you don't know the problems in the US. You're listening to all these problems, but the problems of depression, suicides, drug overdose has increased so much with this coronavirus. We live a very balanced society with the sun around. They don't have the sun around, so they get depressed because of lack of sunshine. Okay, people are getting cabin fever and all that. So Stavan, Gagan, thank you very much for organizing this. Let's have social interactions. Okay, charity begins at home. Let's look after our home and let's build it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Jani. It was great to have you as our first speaker. Thank you once again, and thank you for everyone that joined in. It would not have been possible without all of you, and we would like to have your continued support for the upcoming webinars. So thank you, stay safe, and good night, everyone. Thank you.